Right now, while you're watching this, there are probably three things fighting for your attention. A notification, a thought about something you need to do, maybe even a noise in the background you're not even aware of. Welcome to the loudest world humans have ever lived in. And here's the truth nobody tells you. It's not the noise around you that's destroying your peace. It's what's happening inside your head that you've never learned to control. Today, I'm going to give you 8 ways the Stoics used to stay calm, even in chaos, even in war, even facing death itself. These aren't theories. These are tools that real people used to survive real pressure, thousands of years before phones, before notifications, before this constant noise we live in now. By the end of this video, you're going to have a complete toolkit to build calm in a world that's doing everything it can to take that calm away from you. If you feel overwhelmed most days, if your mind never really turns off, if you go to bed tired but your brain keeps running like a machine that won't stop, this video is exactly for you. Let's get into it. Number 1. Control the controllable. This is the foundation of everything in Stoic philosophy, and it's probably the single most powerful idea you'll ever learn about mental peace. Epictetus said, "There are things within our control and things outside our control. Your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your reactions, those are yours. The weather, other people's opinions, traffic, the economy, those are not yours." Most of the stress in your life right now comes from fighting things you can't control. You get mad at traffic like yelling is going to move the cars. You get anxious about what someone thinks of you like you can control their mind. The moment you separate what's yours from what's not, an enormous weight lifts off your chest. Not because the problem disappears, but because you stop wasting energy on something that was never yours to fix in the first place. Think about how much of your day is actually spent reacting to things you have zero power over. Someone's mood at work, a delayed flight, a comment online from a stranger you'll never meet. None of that is yours to control, yet you probably spend hours of mental energy on it every single week. Once you start noticing this pattern, you realize how much of your stress is completely self-inflicted, built entirely on trying to control the uncontrollable. The real skill isn't fixing every situation. It's learning to ask yourself, in the moment, is this actually mine to control? And if the answer is no, you let it go. Not because you don't care, but because caring about something you can't change only drains you without changing the outcome at all. This idea sounds simple, but living it is a completely different thing. And that's exactly why the Stoics practiced it every single day, instead of just reading about it once. Epictetus himself was a slave for years, in a life where almost nothing was under his control. And yet he became one of the calmest, freest minds in history, precisely because he mastered this one distinction better than almost anyone. He understood that circumstances don't define your peace. Your relationship with those circumstances does. So the next time your day gets hijacked by something completely outside your hands, remember that the actual battle was never out there in the world. It was always happening inside your own head, and that's the only battlefield where you've ever had real power. Number 2, practice negative visualization. This sounds dark, but stick with me because it's one of the most powerful tools for gratitude and calm that exists. The Stoics would imagine losing the things they had, their health, their home, the people they love. Not to be pessimistic, but to remind themselves how valuable those things actually are right now, while they still have them. We take everything for granted until it's gone. You don't appreciate your legs until you can't walk. You don't appreciate a quiet night's sleep until insomnia hits. When you spend a few minutes imagining life without something you have, your brain resets, and suddenly you see your normal, boring, everyday life as something incredibly rich. That shift alone kills a huge amount of unnecessary anxiety because you stop chasing more and start appreciating what's already here. This exercise works because our brains are wired to adapt to whatever we have and start wanting the next thing. It's called hedonic adaptation, and it's the reason a new phone feels amazing for 2 weeks and then feels normal forever after. Negative visualization interrupts that cycle on purpose. Try this tonight. Pick one person in your life you love, and for 30 seconds, really imagine a day without them. Not to scare yourself, but to feel, even briefly, how much that person actually means to you. Do this with your health, your home, even something as simple as being able to see the sunrise this morning. This small mental exercise, done consistently, rewires how much gratitude you feel on an average, ordinary day. The reason this practice matters so much in a loud world is that constant noise keeps you distracted from ever really noticing what you already have. You're too busy scrolling, comparing, wanting the next thing, to actually stop and feel grateful for the life in front of you. Negative visualization forces a pause that modern life almost never gives you on its own. It's uncomfortable for a few seconds. Sure, imagining loss always is, but that discomfort is exactly what wakes you up out of autopilot. Marcus Aurelius did this daily, reminding himself that every person he loved was mortal, every possession was temporary, and instead of making him sad, it made him one of the most grateful, grounded rulers in history. That's the trade you're making here. A few seconds of discomfort for a lifetime of deeper appreciation. Number 3. Remember, everything is temporary. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that everything, the good and the bad, passes. Every emotion, every crisis, every argument, every bad day, it all passes. This isn't about being cold or distant from your feelings. It's about remembering that whatever storm you're in right now is not permanent. When you're in the middle of stress, your brain tricks you into believing this feeling will last forever. It won't. Nothing does. The moment you truly believe that in your bones, panic loses its grip on you. You stop reacting like the world is ending because you know, deep down, that this too will pass, just like everything before it did. Look back at your own life for a second. Think of a problem that felt absolutely massive a year ago, something that kept you up at night, something you thought you'd never get over. Chances are you barely think about it now, or it doesn't even bother you the same way anymore. That's proof, from your own experience, that this rule is true. Every wave of stress you've ever felt has eventually passed, without exception. Holding on to that evidence, instead of forgetting it every time a new problem shows up, is what separates people who stay calm under pressure from people who fall apart every single time something goes wrong. There's actually a physical reason this works so well on your nervous system. When your brain believes a threat is permanent, it stays locked in a state of high alert, pumping stress hormones non-stop because it thinks the danger will never end. But the moment your brain accepts that this feeling has an expiration date, even a rough one, the alert system starts to calm down on its own. This is why simply telling yourself, "This will pass," during a hard moment isn't just a nice phrase. It's actually changing your body's chemistry in real time. The Stoics didn't have brain scans to prove this, but they figured it out through pure observation of human suffering. And modern science just confirmed what they already knew 2,000 years ago. Number 4, focus on your response, not the event. This is one of the biggest game changers in Stoic thinking. It's never the event itself that hurts you. It's the story you tell yourself about the event. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's just an event. Your brain adds the story. They disrespected me. They think they're better than me. That story is what creates the anger, not the actual car. The Stoics trained themselves to separate the event from the interpretation. When something happens, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, what actually happened versus what story am I adding on top of it? This single habit alone can cut your daily stress in half, because most of what upsets you isn't reality. It's the narrative you built on top of reality. Here's a practical way to test this today. Next time you feel a sudden flash of anger or frustration, stop for 3 seconds and literally say out loud, even quietly, what happened, using only facts. No opinions, no assumptions about intentions. A car moved in front of mine. That's it. That's the entire event. Everything else, the disrespect, the anger, the feeling of being wronged, that's all added by your mind afterward. The gap between the raw event and your interpretation is exactly where your power lives. The wider you can make that gap, the calmer you become, because you start choosing your reactions instead of firing them off automatically. Notice how differently two people can react to the exact same event, depending entirely on the story they attach to it. One person gets cut off in traffic and shrugs it off in 2 seconds. Another person gets cut off and stays angry for the rest of the drive, maybe even the rest of the day. Same event, completely different outcome, and the only variable that changed was the interpretation running in their head. This means calm isn't about controlling the world around you, which was never possible anyway. It's about controlling the story you allow your mind to write about that world. Once you truly grasp this, you realize you've been handing your piece over to random events for years, when the whole time, the pen was actually in your own hand. Number 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics would deliberately expose themselves to small discomforts: cold water, simple food, physical effort, silence. Why? Because comfort makes you fragile. When your entire life is soft, easy, and convenient, the smallest inconvenience feels like a crisis. When you train yourself with small doses of discomfort, your tolerance for stress grows massively. Take a cold shower. Walk somewhere instead of driving. Sit in silence with no phone. These tiny acts build a kind of mental armor. The next time life throws something uncomfortable at you, and it will, you already have practice handling discomfort without falling apart. This works the exact same way physical training works. Nobody walks into a gym once and gets strong. You build strength through repeated, controlled exposure to resistance. Mental resilience works identically. Every time you choose the slightly harder option on purpose, skipping the elevator, eating something plain instead of your usual comfort food, sitting through a boring moment without reaching for your phone, you're adding a small deposit into your resilience account. None of these moments feel important on their own, but stacked over weeks and months, they completely change how much life has to throw at you before you actually break. There's something almost ironic about how much modern life has removed struggle while somehow leaving people more anxious and fragile than ever before. We've engineered discomfort almost completely out of daily existence: climate control, food delivered in minutes, entertainment on demand. And yet stress and anxiety numbers keep climbing every single year. The Stoics would say this isn't a coincidence at all. A body and mind that never face resistance never develop the capacity to handle resistance when it inevitably shows up. Voluntary discomfort isn't about suffering for no reason. It's about choosing small, controlled challenges now, so that life's uncontrolled challenges later don't completely knock you off your feet. Number 6. Reduce your exposure to noise, digital and mental. This one is huge for the modern world specifically. The Stoics lived in a world without phones, obviously, but they still warned constantly about the danger of too much external input. Seneca wrote about people who filled every moment with noise just to avoid facing their own minds. You need moments, even short ones, with zero input. No music, no scrolling, no podcast in the background. Just quiet. This isn't punishment, it's medicine. Your brain needs empty space to process everything you've been avoiding processing. Cutting noise, even for 10 minutes a day, is one of the fastest ways to lower anxiety in a world that's constantly trying to fill every second of your attention. Most people don't even realize how much background noise they've normalized into their lives. TV playing while cooking, podcast on while cleaning, phone open while eating. None of these moments were designed to have input attached to them. We just added it out of habit, out of discomfort with quiet. Try removing input from one ordinary task today. Eating a meal, walking to your car, brushing your teeth. And just notice how loud your own thoughts sound when there's nothing else competing for your attention. That discomfort you feel in the first few minutes is exactly the sign that you've been avoiding your own mind for way too long. It's worth being honest about why this feels so hard for so many people. Silence forces you to sit with whatever's actually going on inside you. And if there's stress, sadness, or unresolved worry buried under the noise, it's going to surface the second the distraction stops. That's uncomfortable, but it's also exactly the point. You can't heal something you never let yourself feel. The people who seem the calmest, the most grounded, aren't the ones who avoided their problems better than everyone else. They're the ones who stopped running long enough to actually face them. Quiet isn't the absence of something good. It's the presence of something most of us have forgotten how to sit with. Number 7. Focus only on today. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private journal focusing almost entirely on the present day. Not next year, not next week, sometimes not even tomorrow. Just today. What can I do today? How can I act with integrity today? How do I handle what's in front of me right now? Most anxiety lives in the future. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I fail? The Stoics understood that you can only actually act in the present moment. Worrying about a future that hasn't happened yet is wasted energy spent on something that doesn't even exist yet. When you bring your focus back to just today, the size of your problems shrinks dramatically. Because today is manageable in a way the entire unknown future never is. Try this simple shift the next time you feel overwhelmed by everything ahead of you. Instead of asking, how am I going to handle the next 6 months? Ask, what's the one thing I need to handle today? That's it. 6 months from now doesn't exist yet, and worrying about it changes nothing happening in it. But today, right now, you actually have power to act. Breaking your life down into today-sized pieces is not about ignoring the future. It's about realizing the only place you've ever actually had any real influence is right here, in the day you're currently living. Think about how a marathon runner actually finishes 42 kilometers. They almost never think about the whole distance while running. They think about the next kilometer, sometimes the next step. The whole race would feel impossible held in the mind all at once, but one step at a time, it becomes completely manageable. Your life works the exact same way. The next 10 years of your life, held in your mind all at once, feels overwhelming and vague. But today, this one day in front of you has a clear, doable shape. Every calm, successful life you've ever admired wasn't built by someone who conquered the future in one move. It was built one focused, present day at a time, repeated for years. Number 8. Remember death. Not to fear it, but to use it. This might sound heavy, but it's one of the most calming practices in all of Stoicism. The Stoics practiced something called memento mori, remembering that death comes for everyone. Not as something scary, but as a filter for what actually matters. When you remember that your time is limited, you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. That argument you're about to have over something small doesn't matter. That grudge you're holding doesn't matter. That fear of what a stranger thinks of you doesn't matter. Remembering death isn't depressing, it's clarifying. It strips away the noise and leaves only what's actually important, which is exactly the kind of clarity that produces real, lasting calm. This isn't about being obsessed with dying, it's about using a simple, honest fact to reset your priorities. Marcus Aurelius kept a skull on his desk for this exact reason, not out of morbid fascination, but as a daily reminder to not waste the limited time he had on things that ultimately meant nothing. Ask yourself, honestly, would this argument matter to me if I knew I only had 1 year left? Would this grudge still be worth carrying? For most people, the answer becomes obvious the moment mortality enters the picture. That's the whole point of this practice. It's not about fear. It's about using the one guaranteed fact of life to make sure you're actually spending your limited time on what matters. It's strange, but almost everyone lives like they have unlimited time until something forces them to confront the opposite. A health scare, the loss of someone close, a milestone birthday, and suddenly priorities that seemed important for years shrink down to nothing overnight. The Stoics figured out a way to get that same clarity without needing an actual crisis to force it. By deliberately remembering your time is limited on a regular basis, you get to live with that clarity now, instead of only discovering it looking back with regret. That's the real gift hidden inside this uncomfortable practice. It turns a fact most people avoid thinking about into the exact thing that helps you live with more calm, more presence, and far less wasted energy on things that were never going to matter anyway. So here's what all 8 of these come down to. Calm isn't something that happens to you when life finally gets quiet. Life is never going to get quiet. The world is only getting louder. Calm is something you build deliberately, through habits like the ones we just went through. Control what's yours. Appreciate what you have. Remember, it's all temporary. Watch your interpretations. Train with discomfort. Cut the noise. Stay in today. Remember, your time is limited. None of this requires you to change your job, move to the mountains, or quit your phone forever. It just requires you to practice these small shifts consistently in the middle of the actual noisy life you already have. That's the whole point of Stoicism, not to escape the world, but to stay steady inside it, no matter how loud it gets around you. If you want to keep building this kind of mental strength, subscribe to the channel, because this is only the beginning of what Stoic philosophy can teach you about living calm in a chaotic world.